Welcome, Zandile Ndhlovu. It's so rare to have you part of this Oceans Day special podcast series. Zandile is the founder of the Black Mermaid Foundation. Am I correct?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you so much for having me, Steve.
No, it's so rare to have you here. And it's such a great day to be able to celebrate World Oceans Day, and to do so honoring the women, our custodians, our, what can we call you, our ocean warriors. And yeah, we've just got to don our caps to you and say thank you for all the work that you do to look after what is the most important part of our planet, basically.
Sure, thank you so much. What a beautiful opening, and thank you so much for that, right? Because ultimately we're all trying to protect our oceans, and it's so incredible when we find ways to bring our hearts to the surface and ultimately serving in the ultimate.
That's so cool. So let's ask you some questions. Let's dig down into all the mechanics of your love for the ocean. Okay. I'm going to start with, you've chosen to protect the ocean and you've devoted your life to doing so, essentially. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've had in that life choice that you've made?
I think if I had to say what is the largest challenge, it would be making it work, right? And by that I mean financially making it work. When you follow your passion, there's so much that you need to release in order to be there. And I think coming from a Joburg lifestyle, it is such a change when you realize that the currency of your heart is so much greater than anything else. And it kind of leads you to the place that says you're going to have to figure it out.
Wow. You've hit the nail on the head there. It's not easy, especially in South Africa. And you've chosen a path that isn't necessarily viewed as a lucrative one. So there's always going to be those sorts of challenges ahead of you. And so you have to really, as I say, we have to place a lot of respect on people like yourselves who having to overcome, financial challenges to be able to keep doing what you're doing. So, kudos to you for doing that.
Thank you.
How does the ocean make you feel when you're in it, you see it? What is your core feeling about essentially what the ocean means to you?
The ocean for me is home. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel held. It helps me feel seen in all the ways I hope to be seen. And when I think of the word free, that word is most tangible and accessible in the ocean. And so it is to belong just as you are. It is to not be odd. It is not to be awkward. It is to be just perfect as you are. And so how do I feel in the ocean? I feel like an infinite universe that knows no boundaries and is just loved immensely by this massive body of water.
Wow, that's powerful stuff, man. That's making my hair stand up. That's beautiful. And I think you've just bottled it and you've presented it in such a beautiful way. But it's what we all feel when we dip our foot in the ocean, when we surf, when we swim, when we dive, the ocean is such an amazing energy at providing us with the oxygen that we breathe, and it really is a sanctuary for all of us. Great answer. I love it. How many days can you go without being near the ocean before you start going a little bit?
I definitely have to say it's probably like 5 days. At 7 days, I feel like an addict and I'm really battling. And then we have to figure out a way. Sometimes it ends up being a swim, but I need to find a way to immerse. I've definitely come to realize that it is a young obsession. It's it's my crutch in life.
Awesome. Well, it's a good one because it's life-giving, and it's the energies. Just you have to plug in. I remember at one point, I used to surf so much, and I couldn't, if I hadn't surfed that day or hadn't caught a wave and got that energy and that adrenaline kick, I couldn't sleep that night. I'd just toss and turn simply because I hadn't connected or gained that energy that I would have from the ocean, which ultimately, yes, it's energy, but it actually just calms you down, right? And it just centers you, and it just takes away all your worries, kind of thing.
I echo that so much because On some days, when the days have been really big, you'll find me swimming in the night in Komiki, because you just need to find a way to charge, to release the charge in your body into the ocean. And it's the wildest thing, but what a privilege to be able to do that still.
Super privileged. Okay, let's talk about the younger ones. What's the best way that we can continue to, or you feel we can continue to educate them, encourage them, and teach them about the ocean?
Make the oceans accessible. You know, in order for us to care for something, in order for us to want to protect something, it has to be a place that we have seen, that we have experienced, and ultimately have a connection with. We protect all things that feel like home to us. And so the best way to learn, and the best way to hope that the end goal is protection, is to create that connection. And connection comes in play. Connection comes in the moments of raw curiosity, and somewhere between the figuring out, the fear, the joy, the excitement, you know, between all of that is what we hope for, the connection that changes everything, that says, oh, when someone says protect our oceans, you say yes. And so it is, for me, it is play, it is curiosity, it is, and everything in between, but it starts with access, making the oceans more accessible.
That's brilliant. Yeah. And getting those kids to the ocean. And as you say, bridging that gap that before they might have been sort of withheld or unable to get to the ocean for whatever reason. And the beautiful thing about this is there's a lot of upliftment programs that are happening in and around our coastline, you know, from Cape Town all the way up past Jeffreys Bay. So it's wonderful to see a lot more momentum starting to happen, you know.
Absolutely.
So on this beautiful World Ocean Day, is there any specific message that you would like to put out there and just tell everyone that sits, you know, that sits in your heart about the ocean?
I would say, well, the obvious is protect our oceans, right? But the second is it starts with intentionality. And I think intentionality changes how we engage anything and everything in life, be it if we choose to get away from single-use plastic or single-use anything for that matter, if we decide to carpool, if we decide to do, you know, beach cleans. It's intentional living. It starts with saying, I want to protect these oceans, and so I will do this differently. And every little thing that you do joins the collective's efforts. And so yours matters in however small it is. Don't ever forget what the human collective is. When we all do little things together, we bring change together. And so, yeah, to lean into the bit that you can do and trust that the collective is holding with you, and we will make change together.
That is so sick and so profound and so beautifully crafted for us to get to understand what it is that drives you. And I really do think you are a mermaid, and you've just grown some legs somewhere along the line. But you really, and then sort of the color from your fins has got, you know, whatever we call it, a tail, has just gone up to your hair. And so I just want to say a massive thanks for being a part of this short little podcast on this World Oceans Day. And you inspire. Please continue to do what you're doing, because you're inspiring and you're motivating, and you're just the ocean, like it's just locked up inside you. And so I say thank you very much. All the links will be down below. Please support this young lady in her journey, her foundation, and we'll do everything to keep to continue supporting you along this journey. Thank you very much, Zandile.
Thank you, Steve. It's been beautiful.